Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I have
Hello.
a new guest. Well, not a new guest. The old king of it all himself.
Yeah, that was step in. I don't know where Oz is. He's the one that everyone wants to
No one wants
see
to see.
anyway.
No one wants to see us. Everyone wants to see Steve. Everyone wants to Steve rant once or
No, they
twice.
don't. I don't know if I've got any in me. Oh, well, I do. If anyone,
Nah.
yeah, I suppose. Get me going.
Good evening, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Right. Britball is back after a very confusing couple months of not knowing when games were starting, when the schedule was, what was happening.
Well, it was. Yeah, that's interesting though, because I remember seeing. I think we even posted like the fixtures, but then there's always changes to even when they're first published anyway. But they weren't put on League Republic, so they weren't like Baffa never posted anything to say here's the fixtures,
Yeah.
and they still didn't really like they got League Republic sorted a few days before or in the week leading up to last Sunday. Yeah, it was just like, oh, and now it's out, is it?
I can tell you when it went live. So obviously I was checking before we even started streaming.
Mm.
So I checked the Monday morning. I was like, cool. Let me see what fixtures are. Let me see if I can get some stuff written down. You know when it went live? It went live at like 6 p.m. It went
Right.
live. I only saw it on the Monday. I was just like, oh, okay, now it's live. Perfect. Thank you. There you go. It's going off now. It was on last week. If you didn't see it, you didn't see it.
Ah, shame.
But it will be back on later on in the season. But looking at the whole situation, I don't really understand why it's been so difficult for us to get the schedules out. Or I understand teams want to change it, but it was
Well, yeah, you had a couple of teams dropping off, didn't you?
yeah, and
Well, one in particular that I can. Oh, it wasn't just a couple of teams dropping off. It was then they had to sort out the associate status
yeah,
teams were playing, and which like I said in the article, or at least that's like a patchwork fix, but it's the next best thing to do, right? Like it makes it. There's now games, but
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
it's still a shambles, but it's better than it was.
but the all right. So the men's league is obviously fine now. Everything is sorted. The thing that I do feel upset about is the fact that the women's league has taken such a horrible turn.
Mm.
It's taken such a turn that you're just sitting there. You're like, why can't this just get sorted out? And to be honest, the women's league shouldn't start in April.
Mm.
I don't know why it starts now when you know that there's not enough teams for it to get pushed out. So what the women will play their games in April, May, and June, and then they won't play the playoffs until August.
Mm.
But with teams,
Yeah, well, and it's funny because if you look at like the flag, like I'm really being introduced to flag for the first time this year, right? Properly.
yeah,
And the way that they do their scheduling, essentially, it's like once a month. There's Saturday and one weekend, a Saturday and Sunday, that they have a tournament or tournaments for each leagues at one of the team's locations, and they self officiate as well. So like,
oh,
yeah. So like, two teams on the field, one team, or I think two teams officiate, and that they like share the like one's the head officiator and one's the other
oh
ones. I
wow,
don't know. Yeah. They self regulate. So BAFRA don't get involved in that. I don't know. I need to find out. I imagine that as you get into playoffs,
they
they
get
would change
involved.
that. But yeah, so they've got this completely different structure, and I think what they what they've done with the women's league is sort of emulate that like round robin tournament approach. I don't think they're doing the self
Yeah,
refereeing, by the way. But it's like they do Saturday football, they do tournaments all at one location. They play two. I think they play two games each team, and they've got different rules, haven't they? Because they're like 7 aside and
yeah,
9 aside now. But well, actually, I think they're 5 aside too. I think there's three tiers of it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, so there were teams that were dropping out of like the top tier down to the next one
yeah.
down, the 7 aside. And there was one team, I think it was Leeds Chargers, that
They dropped out, didn't
all
they?
the way down.
Yeah.
They dropped down to associate, and I read a post online saying that they didn't even know they could drop down to the next level. That wasn't an option to them. So they're quite frustrated with, I don't know, the competition management. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I'm not really that close to it, but yeah. So there's, but there's other things to moan about. I didn't watch your show last week, but I'm sure you and Vic got into the fact that there's no Div 1, Div 2 postseason anymore, right? And I've said this for years, right? The game's just contracting down. Now, I don't think all of that contraction is a bad thing. If you go back to maybe, let's say, pre-COVID, we were getting really frustrated with forfeits, with just shithousery from teams. And these health checks and these minimum standards have started to come in now. As Baffa always said, over a number of years, and some teams are falling foul of that, and that's really what we wanted, right? Like, let's face it, that's what we wanted was a stronger nucleus of teams. But 8-game seasons, no postseason, that's not what we wanted. That's not what that's not what we were talking about. I was just Ben just said it's just 7s and 9s. Cheers, Ben.
Thanks.
So like I it's not just one area of the sport, and in flag, and again, I've only been introduced to flag this year. We've got a couple of guys that are in our group chat, in our Discord channel that are involved with flag. And that was why we posted on Friday about should BAFA be separate from, as a national governing body, have a separate flag NGB, separate from BAFA, or should it all be together? And there was an overwhelmingly strong response for it should be separate, and even people from both sides of that, because both people feel that they're I think, what does someone call it, second class citizen or whatever. Like they don't, like, you've got flag people and you've got kitted people thinking that they don't feel like that they're BAFA's priority.
It's true, but as soon as it gets we got 3 years till the LA Olympics.
Yeah,
if I'm correct.
Yeah, just over 3. It'll be like June, won't it?
Yeah, so it's gonna get to the point of how would that team selection go? Who would be a part of that team selection? Again, it's still 3 years. It's still 3 years in the making. So there's a lot of things that will get ironed out. Like,
I mean, I'm excited for all that. Like, that's, I mean, like, just imagine watching flag football, with a GB team in the, like, I honestly, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see it. Like, it's going to be awesome. But there are so many opinions from inside the sport about how it's being managed, and that, like that 500 grand was the latest amount of funding that was solely for flag. Well, you don't get that money just like the grant that was brought in. You don't get that money without saying how you plan to spend that. I know this because I've been doing grant applications for Sport Bank, and so that they will already have a plan of, they won't have, they won't them to the penny, but they'll have a plan of, this pot is for this much money, this much money is for this thing, this pot is for this thing, and they will have a rough idea of how that money is supposed to be spent. But also there'll be like key KPIs, like key performance indicators, like how are they measuring the impact of that spend against what they wanted to do, like, because they would have to lay out objectives. It can't just be, oh, we're going to the Olympics, give us money, right? Like, it's like, this is where we are, this is where we're trying to go, this is how much we think we need. And it's probably not the last amount of money that will be granted, which is a good thing. Like, this is a great thing. We finally got it, one of our sports, the ability to bring a lot of money and attention to it. And people from within the sport are frustrated that there's not more transparency and information available for that.
That's where I think that's where the problem comes in. Even though Steve says not every country will qualify, which
that's right of any Olympic event, right? Like, you have qualifications for it. I don't know the structure, but obviously Coach Rains will know better than I do. But yeah, like there'll be qualifying rounds and stuff. I'd like to think that GB get in. I think we're number 1 in Europe.
Yeah, we should be, I believe.
But there's Sport England grants for flag. Yeah. Yeah, well, there's Sport England. There's Sport England grants for any initiative. Now, interestingly, the grants work on the fiscal year, and so those that know that fiscal year's just started. So, so some of them were frozen in March, and some get frozen in April. But over the next sort of, well, certainly for the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks, they'll start to unfreeze with new parameters all of this money, and new amounts of money as well. Like, you know, every year there's more and more money added to the different pots. And I know from my own research, there's a lot of focus, and this isn't Sport England stuff, but government money being spent. They're focusing a lot on like AI initiatives, but there's a huge initiative for Sport England. Well, actually, it's DCMS level, Department of Culture, Media and Sport. That's like the highest tier in government that look after sport in our country. And they've got an initiative to get more people active, which obviously ties into sport. So there's a lot of money allocated to, if you can go to the, you know, if you've got an initiative that proves that you're able to get inactive people active, you're able to measure that and show it, then there's a lot of money available. And that doesn't mean there's a lot of money in one go. Like, it may be capped at, like, I don't know, 120k, but there could be 12 million, or, you know, 120 million, you know, like this. So the money available was like a big pot available, and then you were allowed to apply for a certain amount. And there's tons and tons of different, and that's just government, right? There's non-government stuff, you know, private sector stuff. There's tons of different grants available. So, but I can't speak much to Sport England, because as Sport Tank, we don't apply to Sport England. We apply to, like, the latest one. The one that we're working with at the moment is Innovate UK, IUK, which is a government owned. It's sort of like Sport England, but for businesses. So I've got a lot of recent experience in the process, and, you know, like, let's say we got money, Sport Tank got 500 grand, right? I would be releasing loads of information about that, saying, like, this is what we're planning on doing, and because you want people to buy into it, right? Particularly, you know, from BAFA's perspective, they should want the members to buy into what's going on. You want they want us to have confidence in their leadership,
but
right?
We're not seeing it.
Well, so transparency is key to that, and it's always been the same with, you know, financial transparency. That's never really been there, but now, you know, now we've got this really unique opportunity to really excel one of the sports.
We need the help.
Just people have sort of got this mindset of, like, I just don't want them to fuck it up, you know. That's it, you know, and help us make sure that you're not doing that, not that you're not fucking it up.
That's true. Which, well, all we can do is wait now, can't we? That's that. We got nothing.
But they've done a good job in, you know,
getting it.
For the grants and getting them, and got, you know, they've secured the bag, so to speak, for what. And typically the way that those grants work is like I said, they're done annually, right? So what you typically have to say is how you're going to spend that money over sort of 12 to 24, well, maybe actually 18 months.
Oh.
So it's then you apply again, and you get to apply like once a year, you know, and you can then get more and more money. But you can put, like, even though there's a once a year application, you can put an application in that covers multiple years, but the money can only be allocated
for that year,
once a year. Yeah. Within the parameters. So, you know, again, like, I'm explaining this as someone that's dove into this for business reasons. Why aren't BAFA telling us, oh yeah, we've got a 3-year deal, we're going to get 1.7 million total, this is what we're planning on doing, you know, you're going to see this thing happen. It's very at the moment it feels like it's very sort of cloak and dagger and not transparent.
Yeah, well, all we can do is, unfortunately, trust the people that are at the top, and see what happens, because it does get to a point where you do wonder, because I think I wrote in my notepad, does BAFA have any growth possibilities? It does, but I don't see it. And I think that's the scary part. So, like, I've played this I played this sport for 13 years. I put a lot of money into it, but yeah, I've not seen it change from when I started in 2010 it's the same thing. There hasn't been any changes. There hasn't really been that many developments, and it does get to a point where you sit there, you're like, is there a point these days other than just to get healthy and stay fit? But
well, and I think that when everyone talks about the development of the game, it's always about the next step being semi-pro. There's obviously talk of an ELF team, but unfortunately, our pathways, all of our talent
is gone to
and there's
Europe.
a hell of a lot of British talent out there. They go abroad.
Yeah.
So I think that should be the first thing to secure is
keep them here.
Yeah, but also attract other people here, right? Like it should be the case that our nationals stay and we get more imports and internationals from throughout Europe playing, coming to play their trade here. But it's I mean, I like that one. I find that one frustrating. I feel like again, I've said this for years. I feel like the organisation of the league needs to be separated from the national governing body for that to really happen properly.
Yeah, because man, there's so many great ideas, but like semi-pro isn't even on my mind in this.
Is it not? No, it is on mine. I'd love it.
I would love it because the opportunities will be amazing for all these youngsters that are playing that want to try go abroad or try get back to the States, or because not everyone can get into NFL Academy, not everyone can get into SGS Pride, not everyone can go to a top university like UE or UE to play football. Like
there's more than just UE out there, but yeah,
I know there is, but it's one of those ones like there's not a lot of opportunities for everyone to. We don't even get to see how many members BAFAs have each year. You can kind of guess, but it is still a wide. You could guess. There's like 60 odd teams. Let's say they have 22 players on each team to play on both sides of the ball. There's a good amount, but we don't see what's going on. Competition being moved away from BAFA is already a key 2-year priority for them.
I've never even heard that.
I've never heard of it.
Good to hear, but like, is that published, Dan? If that's published anywhere, let me know because I'd love to know where that's come from, and if they've got a plan, then awesome. Let's see it.
Even just going to GB when you live in Devon is impossible with it being.
Yeah. Well, that one annoys me because I remember when Jason Scott took over GB, he was like, "We're going to open it up," and he has great ideas with this whole like larger squad, which he's done. But he also, one of the things he said was, "We're going to make it fair by geographically dotting it around." He even come on our show and said it. And he's just, that for whatever reason hasn't happened. And he's made Nottingham the nucleus of the GB program, and it's a shame because it's not what they said.
No, the thing is, I've been to the Nottingham, I've been to the UConn, or whatever it's called. I don't even know what they're called anymore. The Nottingham University's grounds, and
it's not published, but he spoke to Nicole recently. Cool. Cheers, man.
But
that highlights the problem, the just lack of transparency and information, But yeah, cheers, Dan. I appreciate that. Sorry, Micah.
It is a great facility, and the way that you can record practice from high above, so you can see everything that's going on wrong. It is probably one of the best facilities that we have for that. So I kind of understand why it stays there. But it's not particularly very easy for those that are traveling from a while away, which makes it hard. So that's why a lot of people do carpool. I have heard that a lot of players are getting tired because they'll travel up and then they have to travel home, and then some of them actually go practice the next day.
Yeah. Because it's usually on a Saturday, isn't it?
So like it's a 6-hour round trip for some people, and then you've already beaten your body up the day before. You don't even get to rest and relax while you're traveling home because you're driving or stuck in traffic.
Yeah, and I mean, and even that, it just that level of commitment isn't for everyone either. Like I couldn't do that. I've got family, I've got kids. Yeah, like not that I'm in the demographic, but like there are people who have to work who just couldn't make that commitment.
So after the last two, it is an expensive sport already as well. And after the last 2 games that GB played, it wasn't a great showing. The last against Germany, it was a very very tough outing. But
hey, Germany were always going to be a tough.
League is going to be was always good. But from what I always remember is that was their first time playing together as a country as well, which is
their first time in a while. Like they pulled out of international competition.
Yeah, but
a number of years before.
Yeah, but it's been a while since they've probably that nucleus of players had actually played together, other than 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 played on the same ELF.
Yeah, it's scary, their potential, man.
So you sit there, you're like, okay, interesting.
Someone, I just want to go back to this, just to quickly touch on it.
Yeah.
I don't make this stuff that public, but Nathan said we should get the head of BAFA on the show. So Chad, the CEO, he doesn't acknowledge me or talk to me. I've copied him in on a few emails to different people to try and solve some issues. I just get aired by him and everyone else. So no, until one day they might reach out to me and want to build bridges, but I don't know. Yeah. It won't happen. Essentially, they cozy up nicely to Inside Britball, so that's where you'll probably find that content. You won't find it with us.
But you know what? The more the merrier. It's can't they do G?
Well, that was that was exactly what Jason said when they first took over. And I don't know. I know that they, that maybe budget's an issue. I'm not sure. They've had to do their own fundraising at times. It's quite frustrating. I hear a lot of complaints from people that have the amount of money it costs them to play GB, which is quite funny because there was that article, I think it was last week, going around of the GB athlete. I don't know what he does.
Runner, the Olympic runner got told.
The Olympic runner, yeah. He didn't want to pay 1,100 quid to represent GB.
Yeah.
And people were backing him. Yeah, of course not. That's ridiculous. Like, well,
even the athletes were backing him. Even
the money's not there. The money's not there.
So it is very interesting, and it is a very long topic for this, and we can talk about this all night. And I'm sure everyone else wouldn't have a problem with it. Steve in that new office.
No, my same. What? My same office. Nothing's changed.
Probably a different background.
Oz has just messaged me saying he thought it started at 8. He's just getting home now, so he should be on in a few minutes.
Okay, cool.
Normal services can resume.
Well, normal services we're going to be going straight into the game picks when he comes on anyway.
Well, should we not talk about?
Yep.
We're talking about the picks from last week, right?
Yep. So
I don't want to be part of any picks, man. People just piss and moan at me about them. Like,
do it. I'm creating this. I'm creating the thing. I want all of us to do it because I really want to do it.
I've done it before. Do you know what? I wish, and we can't do it yet, but it was much better when we could do it and put it alongside the public picks that we used to do, where we said, "Oh, you vote as well." So it was like, here's the public perception. Here's what our pundits have said. Here's what happened.
We could still.
We don't have that now. We just got, here's what we've said, or our rundown pundits have said, and people take the rundown pundits as that is Sport Tank, and so like we get tagged in stuff like, fuck you, Sport Tank, you got us wrong, don't do that again, and like all of that stuff winds me up because I'm like,
I've told people
it's worse in Uniball. Admittedly, they're a little bit more immature, but still, it happens in Senior Ball. Happened this weekend. So I'm not a fan of picks at all.
I've said tag me. I have said tag me multiple times.
I was going to complain that people are mad about your picks. Yeah, we just did. I think
I'm not gonna bother do it because the team, the player that it was one player that complained this week about our picks, and I'm not gonna give that person the time of day because your team was pretty garbage last year. So not gonna expect your team to do something spectacular this year, was I?
So Simon said about bringing back public voting. So let me just give you a little history into the background of that. So we used to do public vote. So this started off when we were doing memes.
Yeah.
What I used to do is put a Google form together each week with all of the fixtures, and everyone had to vote for everyone. We used to get like 400, 500 people voting, right? It was really good. Damn. And then we'd do like a little pie chart to show the result, and then we'd to show the prediction, then we'd put the result on top of it, and it was like who was right, who was wrong. We then, when we got our website, when we changed the Gridiron Hub, we got it developed so that the picks could be part of the website. So you could make your picks on the website, and then it would give you a point for everyone you got right and put that into a league table. So a global league table. And we did it for uni ball, senior ball, and we did it for NFL. So you could have an all-up number, an all-up league table, or just for your individual leagues. And you could also create your own league table for you and your mates, and you can make that public or private, right? So it was all like sorted. It was all fine. We then moved from Gridiron Hub to Sport Tank, and that was one of the things that we've got the back end for it, if you like we've got the functionality, but we haven't had the front end UX UI design for it yet to bake it in to the website.
Nah, that makes sense.
But there's other fucking priorities that have gone ahead of it. So we will bring back the public voting. I thought it would be back before now. I've no fucking idea when it will be back. If we get this funding that I'm trying to get, then everything comes back a lot quicker. We can only go as fast as I can afford, because it all comes out. All of this development cost comes out of my pocket, right? I'm the one that pays for this stuff, and at the moment I'm unemployed. Hopefully I'll have a job soon. So all of the website development stuff's on freeze at the moment. So the other option is that we jump all the way back to releasing a Google Form sheet and getting everyone to do, and it was such a ball ache. It took me hours and hours of work to do. So I mean, if someone wants to come in and run it for us, I can teach them how to do it. Great. I don't have the capacity to do it in terms of time capacity. So that's why we don't do it anymore. To answer your question, Simon.
All right. So we have had our week one go. We're gonna go into the week one predictions from what we did last week. So it was me and Victor that was on the stream last week, and we also obviously got the Beans to get involved. We got Nana, and we got
Matt message me,
and someone else,
Matthew Smith. Sorry, I'm jumping in here, but Matthew Smith said he'll do the vote stuff for us. Message your page, either Instagram or Facebook, and I'll pick it up and we'll talk tomorrow or whatever. Sorry,
but we're going. Yep, I see him. But we're going off of week one. Hello, Oz. Welcome back.
Well, I'm gonna fucking dip out then. Fuck it. See you later. That's
like
perfect timing.
You did. So week one was a very interesting.
Put your mic down.
Your mic.
Put your mic down.
Hang on. No, I need to see what my audio settings are.
It's perfectly fine. We can hear you.
Okay.
All right. So week one, we had 11 games get played. So we're going to.
Did we only have 11?
Huh?
Did we only have 11?
Yep, only 11. No Premiership games last week. None whatsoever. So we had Swindon Storm versus Hereford Stampede. It ended 7-14. Well, 14-7 to Hereford Stampede. Both me and Victor got that one correct.
How do you leave so many vowels out of words when you say them?
Oh, I don't care.
The word is Hereford.
Oh, I don't give a damn. It's spelled. I read it how it's spelled, and I'm not taking on no bloody pronunciations on how it is. And then we had the new team. We had the new team, Plymouth. We had the rivalry game. You're gonna enjoy this one. Us.
Mate,
we had Plymouth Vanguard versus Cornwall Monarchs. Plymouth Vanguard ran all over them, 41-12. Jesus.
Is this really a surprise though?
It's not a shock.
We've been hearing for like what, a year and a half, 18 months now, like how good Plymouth is, how well they're going to be doing, how well organized they are, how well coached they are. And I don't want to be saying this like sounding like I'm being sarcastic about it. Like that's literally what we've been hearing from everybody is who's been linked. They've been like, oh, Plymouth, like they're a really well run. I haven't heard that about Cornwall for like 10 years. Like none of those things.
I haven't really heard that about much.
Oh,
a lot of teams.
I've heard good things about certain teams. About these guys are really well coached. These guys have a big squad. I've heard it different parts and stuff. I have not heard those specific like encouragement pieces about Cornwall in like 10 years. Like, so why did we think this was going to be different?
I didn't. I picked Plymouth to win this game.
Did anybody pick Cornwall to win this game?
Victor did. Victor picked them. Victor picked them on experience, which was quite
on experience. Mate, yes. I'd say Plymouth has probably got more experience than Cornwall. Just because Plymouth hasn't existed in the league doesn't mean that the players are all green, fresh guys. Like,
very true.
I wouldn't be surprised if half of them are guys that have come from places like Cornwall and things like that, and are just fed up with the bullshit that came with being associated with those teams. So I
knew I was going to get you with this one.
picking on experience.
So that obviously, and then we had Norwich Devils versus Ipswich Cardinals, which Ipswich Cardinals beat Norwich 21-6.
And someone told me that there was 4 safeties for the Norwich offense in this game.
Yeah, I heard this. Like,
that
can't be right though? 4 safeties would have made it 8. Would have made it
4 safeties. 4 safeties would make up 8 points, and then you've just got to find 13. You've got to find 13 from somewhere else, which you can do. You can score a touchdown, kick a field goal, kick the extra point, kick a couple of field goals. Like, it's doable. But it's anybody who was
there.
Really 4 safeties.
Where's Martin? Martin, I need you to confirm this, please.
Yeah.
You were referencing this game. You told me
2 safeties. All right, we've been told 2 safeties.
Cardinals didn't allow a first down.
3 safeties, 2 safeties, 3 safeties, 4 safeties, 2 safeties, 3 safeties. One got called back. Okay. 3 safeties, 1 got called back. Jesus Christ. Yeah. 3 safeties on the roster. No safeties on the roster.
My gosh. And then obviously
no offensive coordinator on the roster either. If you're giving up 3 safeties.
Well, shit, goals bad. Obviously, I picked Ipswich to win that game.
Obviously, he's
Victor picked Norwich, and then we had Lee Miners versus Leicester Panthers.
You're lucky. I was in Galway last week and just couldn't do anything.
Why didn't you pick? I sent it out. You should have sent your picks through.
Hatch sent it through as well, mate. I was working like 12-hour days and shit. I was getting home and I was like, well, not even home. I was crawling back into my Premier Inn hotel room and just being like, fuck the world. like Hatch chased me up individually and he's like, hey, love you. And I blanked him. I just flat out, I didn't even open the message. I was just like, nah, can't do it.
Fair enough. And this game against Leicester Panthers and Lee Miners, it ended 48-0 to Leicester Panthers. I picked Lee Miners, which was probably the worst decision I've ever made in my life. I don't know why. I just assumed. I didn't know. Because Leicester Panthers went down from Prem to Div 2 in back-to-back seasons. So I just assumed that they didn't.
And the Lee Miners have never made it out of Div 2.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
So you've got a team that's never been able to get out of Div 2. And we're just going to be like, well, that team that came down, crashing down twice is
ain't going to be good.
It's not going to be better than those two. Jesus Christ.
That is true. That was a bad decision by me. Fair enough. And then we had in the Division 2 North, we had Humber Warhawks versus Wakefield District Raiders. That game ended 48-22 to Humber Warhawks. I got this one wrong as well.
You picked Wakefield.
Yeah, I went for. I did say on the stream, I'm going for a dark horse. I'm going for a wild pick, and I picked Raiders. I did, and I got it wrong, obviously. Victor got it right. That gives him so the score. When I tell you the picks that everyone got and what the outcome was is absolutely ridiculous. But we'll do that once I get to the end. Anyway,
are you keeping track of it this year? Because I'm
creating a spreadsheet.
I'm gonna be so infrequent with mine with work and stuff that it's just
I'm gonna create a spreadsheet. I'm gonna throw it in so that one everyone could just do it automatically. So Hatch doesn't have to go around asking everybody for whatever it is. And then we had Darlington's this game. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I was kind of at this game. We have Darlington Steam versus Gateshead Senators. The game ended 46-35 to Darlington Steam. That sounds like a great offensive game.
I was going to say that's Britball, 80 points. 80 points, no defense. Let's go.
Hey, I'm down. I picked Darlington Steam because I remember what they did last year. So I was quite happy to go with that. And obviously Victor picked Gateshead Senators.
Yo, the Bournemouth Bobcats got a new logo.
Do they?
I think so.
Yes. It's a mix. It's a mix with the uni one. I think it's just the uni one, but just turned red.
Okay. Well, it looks quite cool. I wonder if the logo's improved. I wonder if the play has.
Well, in Division 1 West, Bournemouth Bobcats versus Somerset Wyverns. It ended 26-0 to Bournemouth Bobcats. So there's a bit of improvement. To Somerset.
I mean, they handled Somerset last year though, didn't they? If I remember rightly, like they did
actually.
Man, mate? Honestly, I switch off in the off season. Have we had like divisional realignments? Because I know obviously we had the Scottish fiasco where we've had an associate team come up and just fucking.
I don't think there's been much of a change in a sense, but I just think that some teams have just been switching around because there's more London-based Kent side teams. So I think they obviously
exactly what we need.
Yeah, they pushed in Colchester and Essex Tridents into a division.
That's exactly what we need. More London-based teams.
Yeah, so that means I think it's Wembley that got pushed out to the Bournemouth division. If I'm correct, and Sussex. So that's what's happened with that one. I picked Somerset over Bournemouth, which was a bad idea. Victor picked Bournemouth, which was great. The next game is in Division 1 Central. Now, I went to this game. No offense to anybody, but I'm going to be offensive right now.
You're getting off the fence.
Blitz B 0, Berkshire Renegades 7. This game was it was horrible. It was horrible to watch. The play calling was very confusing. This is on the Blitz side. I'm just going to say the play calling was very confusing. Blitz had Berkshire on their 1 yard line in the end zone, and they didn't get a safety. Somehow Berkshire were able to get the ball out to about the 5 to kick the punt.
They need to go see Ipswich.
For the whole first half, the whole first half, Berkshire did not leave their 30-yard line. They did not go past the 30-yard line. That's how bad this first half was. And the fact that Berkshire won this game
just feels like bad football all round. So welcome to the season.
Yes, the season is here, and it's
we are. Well, we're in mid-season form for a 7-0 game.
But the game itself, there were a couple players that could have done something spectacular, but it is a lot of rust that was coming off of both teams. Berkshire QB threw a nice 20-yard pass down the seam to their tight end, and then threw a pretty decent 30-yard pass to the corner in the end zone for the touchdown, for the winning touchdown score.
I think that's the big thing to sort of take away at the moment is we are in week 1, guys. Like no one knows. This is all just a crapshoot. No one knows what is going on anywhere and everywhere. So Steve has just mentioned that Solent Thrashers replaced Hereford. So Hereford went down. Solent Thrashers replaced them. And Martin's saying that just say Norwich D had 2 goal line stops, scored with a pick 6, and were on the field for 90% of the game.
Wow. Damn.
So yeah, they didn't really get the ball on offense.
Yeah. But yeah, that game, although the Blitz do seem to they have sort of changed it. They have a running commentary now. Someone was there doing running commentary throughout the whole game, which was
they've got a commentary team, but no actual team, like on-field team.
Well, the B team wasn't up to scratch what you would expect at the beginning of the season. So that is what it is. But congratulations to Berkshire winning their first game in Division 1 after getting promoted, I guess. They were promoted this year, weren't they? Weren't they promoted last year?
Oh man, don't be asking me questions about Britball. I don't know anything about Britball.
Someone find out and let me know, because I'm sure that they were in Division 2 last year. If they weren't, then I apologize for believing that you were a Division 2 team when I was there on the weekend.
They may not have been one. They just played like one.
Yeah.
Right. SFC Central. No. Yeah.
They were promoted. Yeah, they were promoted. There we go.
Yeah, they were promoted.
Thank you, David. But congratulations on it. I can't really argue with that. But then we're going up to the north. We're just gonna go straight through. Sheffield Giants versus Merseyside Nighthawks. This is the one where one player got butthurt because it was 50-50. I don't understand how you get butthurt over 50.
Yeah, I want to talk about this. So someone, I've essentially got no fucking, no dog in this fight because I didn't even put a pick in. But you guys did your picks. You did your 50% of the team said that Hereford was going to win. 50% of the team said that Sheffield was going to win, and then old mate decides to slap it up on his socials after they win by 10, and is like, you'll never doubt us again, or some bullshit like that. Like, bro, fuck off.
To be honest, it makes me want to doubt. It just makes me want to not pick you to win any other game.
I do not understand how a team that has been nicknamed Mercy Rule for the past 3 years, because they have been slapped so hard. Like they've got Rihanna wishing she could move back in with Chris Brown for the beatings that they are getting. Like they like the ass whoopings that they were receiving on a regular basis, like week in, week out.
You don't have the right to chat.
It's you finally dropped down. Like you didn't drop down the year before because of like a technicality which dropped Leicester down instead. Like you honestly, like, they've been beaten so bad they've probably got Stockholm syndrome, that they think that everybody else in the Prem is really good people towards them. Like they just got the shit kicked out of them week in, week out. You finally get to drop down and play some opposition of your own talent level, and then okay, you win by 10. Cool, that's a comfortable victory. But don't be acting like you're about to walk that fucking league. Like,
nope, because we know who's probably going to win this division. Let's be real, but. That game ended, 23-13?
23-13. It's not even like you handed out an ass whooping.
Nope. So it got very confusing. But in that same division, we had Chester Romans versus Yorkshire Rams. This game ended 27-0 to the Yorkshire Rams.
I can't wait for them to play the Rams. I reckon the Rams are going to beat the fucking brakes off them.
Probably. And that, I expect it to be a toss-up. In that division, it's obviously going to be a toss-up potentially between the Rams and Scunthorpe Alphas, if I'm correct, that he's in that division as well.
Yeah, the Alphas have been so close to promotion the past couple of years.
Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. And then we have in the Scottish League, we had Clyde Valley Blackhawks versus Glasgow Tigers.
Do we really get to call it a league for Scotland? Like, oh no, do we really get to call it a division? It's like
it's there.
It's Frankenstein's monster.
It's
been cobbled together. It's like an emergency.
It's just like how I feel about the Scottish Football League. There's only two teams that are going to win it: Celtic or Rangers, and it's only been Celtic for the last 10 years.
Well, depending on who you ask, the Rangers aren't even Rangers. They're like since they went bankrupt and they don't exist any. Yeah.
So yeah, that one ended 32-0 to Glasgow Tigers, which I got correct, which I'm happy about. Thank you. But with that, we obviously had our other predictions with everybody else in the group chat. And so these are how the rankings went after week 1.
Right. So how did you guys get on? Yeah.
With Victor went 5 for 11.
Eesh.
Chris Breen and Sean Breen and myself went 6 and 11.
Right.
Hatch and Nana went 8 and 11.
Let's be honest. At the moment, it's week 1. It's a big old shit show. No one really knows anything. I'm just going to have a quick look, and it's all well and good for me to have hindsight glasses on and say I would have picked this team, but I would have picked Ipswich over Norwich. I have no idea who. Like, just looking at it off the top of my head, I have no idea who I would have picked between Hereford and Swindon. I would have taken the Vanguard over the Monarchs. I would have taken the Panthers over the Miners. Humber over Wakefield, yes. I probably would have picked Gateshead over Darlington, and they split the series last year, so yeah. I would have picked the Blitzby over the Renegades. I would have picked the Bobcats over the Wyverns. I don't know what I would have done with Merseyside and Sheffield. I probably would have picked Sheffield, to be honest, and then that would have just added to the fire of them going, "Oh, don't doubt us again."
Because you remember what happened last.
Shut up. They're probably still going to finish like mid to bottom in that division. Yorkshire Chester, I would have picked Yorkshire, and then Clyde Valley Glasgow, I would have picked Clyde Valley. So I think I probably would have been with you guys at around about sort of like the 7 or 8 of 11. Yeah.
Yeah. So week 1 was good. Obviously, we're going to. I've asked you, those that are watching, to come up with a sort of forfeit for the loser at the end of the season to do that.
Oh, we're actually going to do something with this.
Yeah, we are going to do something with this. So,
okay.
We're going to do but that's what we're going to do. So I'm interested to see what people will come up with. Drop it into either an Instagram page or onto.
I want to see you eat the pineapple.
No. No.
There we go. 45 minutes in, first pineapple reference. Ching ching.
Right. So this pen's not working. Oh, there we go. Right. So week 2, we have 14 games and we welcome the Premiership sides back into the fold. We have 15 games. If he's
got to go watch a Monarchs home game.
That's a long travel for you, boy.
But I got family. I got to go visit my sister. She lives down there. Actually, my nephew's just started playing rugby, and he's like 11. He's just started playing rugby this year, and she was like, "Oh, what about American football?" And I was like, "No," and she was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, not where you guys are based. And she's like, how come? I was like, the closest team to you is just it's just a shite. Yeah. I was like, I wouldn't subject you to having to deal with that. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, I don't want you involved. Just don't send the boy there. Just stick with. I was like, stick with rugby and then get him, I don't know, running sand dunes or something in the summer for fitness training. Like, just leave it off.
Oh, good. All right. So we're going to start off with Division 2 as usual. We're going to start off from the lowest division and work our way up to the top. And it's going to be quick, surefire decisions, obviously. If you want to have a backstory with it, you can. I will never say no to you to doing it. So, Division 2 Midlands, we have Lincolnshire Bombers versus Lancashire Buccaneers, the new team that had two teams form to become one. I think they saw Essex Tridents. I saw the
right. I was like, who the fuck are these? Right, so these guys are the Wolverines and
I can't remember who the other one is.
It's the other team that was going backwards and forwards with Lee last season. So the Miners were going sort of toe to toe with. Let me find them.
I actually can't remember.
There'll be the SC2 West. No, where have they gone? So it's the Wolverines and who? Who was merged with the Wolverines?
There wasn't. Hold on. Let me see if I can put it up. Where's the Lee Miners?
Who folded at the beginning of last year? Chorley Bucks.
Oh, there we go. Chorley Bucks.
Okay. I'm guessing
there must have been a team. There must have been a team close by that wanted to. There we go.
Right. Chorley. Okay. Cool. I thought it was a fusion of. I wanted to say. I'm gonna find them. Doing my research here. I was going to say the Crew Railroaders, but no. I guess they folded. They folded beginning of last season before the season started. Right. Okay. Cool. Well, so, I'm excited because I always liked the Wolverines.
Yeah.
Like I always felt like they were plucky, but inconsistent. There we go. Chorley Bucks, Youth, Junior, and Flag. Lancashire Wolverines contact. Brilliant.
Not bad. Wow.
I always thought they were plucky, the Wolverines. But it's just I could never figure out what they were going to do the next week because I think they were massively inconsistent with their numbers at times and stuff.
100%. But I'll kick it off. I'm going with the Buccaneers. I believe in the teams that merge. I believe that they do good, and Essex Trident so far are the team that have made shown that is possible.
Right, the Tridents are the flagship that merging is the way.
Hey, they are.
Right. Okay. So who are they? The Buccaneers are playing
Lincolnshire Bombers.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bucks as well. Let's go. Come on, let's go. I want to see it.
Right. Next up in Division 2 North. Sorry. We've got Wakefield District Raiders versus Pray for Donny Mustangs.
Oh, so Donny got the week off this week just been. And so they didn't play.
last week. This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, these guys went back and forth. If I remember last time, like there was some decent showings between the two of these guys.
Where are you going, my friend?
Man, you know what? I will pray for Donny. Let's go, Donny. I've got faith. I wanna see it.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually not sure who I'm gonna go for here, but I'm not.
Well, I gave you extra time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Mustang. Yeah, I'm going Mustangs.
Yeah, let's go, Donny. Come on.
Raiders ruined it for me, but hey.
Yeah. I mean, that's on you.
In the same division, we have Humber Warhawks versus Darlington Steam. I'm taking the Steam all day, every day. I'm not even giving it a second thought, to be honest.
Wow, not even a second thought.
Nah, I'm gonna give it to the Steam this week. They did well last week. They won and in a great game. So
I mean, they put up less points than Humber did.
I'm still going with Steam.
All right, I'll split the difference. I'll take the Warhawks.
Okay, Warhawks it is. And then we move up to Division 1. We got the West, where it's Somerset Wyverns versus Bristol Apache.
I'm taking the Apache.
Apache all day, every day.
They were a team that was so close to promotion last year. So, well, I say so close to promotion, but they were definitely in the running.
They were in that conversation. And then we move to Division 1 Central. We have Sussex Thunder versus Wembley Stallions. I'm taking the Stallions.
I'm taking the Stallions as well. Yeah.
So a little note, just so you know. Obviously, we know that the Hornets folded.
Yes.
And from what I've been told, that a lot of players went to Stallions. And what I found out on Sunday is that about 8 to 10 Blitz B players also disappeared and went to the Stallions as well to join them. So,
and however many went to Blitz A, because Blitz A was in a mess.
Apparently, Blitz have a good number in squad as well.
They do now. They were struggling last year.
Yeah. So that one's interesting.
Yeah, Wembley. The thing is, Wembley have always been a strong team throughout the season. Like, they are always decent performers. Sussex has just been promoted. They were Div 2 last year, and they were in a division that just Div 2 South last year was just an absolute shit show of competition or lack thereof. So I don't think it will be. I think it will be quite a comfortable victory for Wembley in this one.
Yeah,
happy to be proven wrong, but yeah.
We won't be. I don't think we will be at all. And then we go to Division 1 East. Now this game was a mess last year. We've got the East Kent Mavericks versus the London Olympians. Actually, it's you now. It's not me. It's you first.
Really?
Yeah. I picked this. I went Stallions first.
Yeah. I'm gonna take East Kent. I'm gonna take East Kent.
I'm gonna take East Kent because don't get me wrong, I understand the Olympians, but from what I've seen, and East Kent do have a lot of.
I don't feel. I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel confident in picking East Kent. Like this is literally
My thing is, East Kent they now have a QB.
Okay.
They didn't have a QB last year, and they actually do. They didn't have
running the Wildcat.
They didn't have a good QB.
Oh, okay. No, three-quarters of Britball doesn't have a good QB. Like, how is that a deciding factor?
That is true.
There's like 8 good QBs in the whole country. Like, what are we doing?
It's true, but I've also played with this QB, so it's a bit of a bias.
There it is.
It's a bit of a bias.
This is like my Sam Chance bias. Like this is.
But they do have a QB that can get the ball downfield and can trot players when he's ready to run.
Can you catch
so it'll be interesting to see how this game turns out. Obviously, I'm not going to this game because no, I'm not traveling to Kent. Not at all. Next up, we have Division 1 Midlands. Sandwell Steelers versus Staffordshire Surge. I am...
Two teams that didn't play this past week. Two teams that didn't play last week.
Neither played. No one in the division played at all.
That's not true, is it? Division 1 Midlands. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Played. So I'm going with the Surge. I'm going to go with the Surge this week.
They were the playoff team last year. They are the safe pick, and I think I will stay with the safe pick. But I am encouraged to see some
Steelers.
Yeah. I think they could be plucky this year. I think they could upset a team or two. But I don't know if this will be the game that they do it.
Okay. So Surge it is for us both. Then we go into the same division. Birmingham Bulls versus Northampton Knights. If we remember what happened last year, 16 picks in the first 4 games.
Yes, I forgot the Birmingham talking about quality QBs. Birmingham's QB threw 16 interceptions in the first 4 games of the season.
It was a very tough one, but I'm gonna go with the
Micah wins the street fight between me and him because he stabs me with his afro comb.
Yeah, of course.
Keeps it hidden up here. Just...
I'm going to take the Northampton Knights on this one.
I agree. Because I got to support our boy. Big old TA.
Is he actually playing?
Big TA's back from injury. Yeah. So I gotta.
Okay, big. Hey, come on, TA. Let's see you do your thing this week. Oh shit! Sorry. I apologize for that. I just looked at the next game. Division 1 North, Scunthorpe Alphas versus Yorkshire Rams.
Yorkshire Rams. Oh, we're getting we're getting firecrackers at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, this is shit. Who did I pick to win this division? That is a very good question.
Mate, shit. I don't want to have to think this early in the season. Oh man. Scunthorpe, Yorkshire. Jesus.
Come on.
I went first last time with the North Hands. You got to pick first.
I'm gonna. Even though I picked Scunthorpe to win the division,
you reckon Yorkshire's taking the game?
I'm gonna give it to Yorkshire this week. I'm gonna give it to Yorkshire for this first round.
Oh, very strong performance. Against Chester. Chester are a good team. Yorkshire. Right. I'm gonna back Scunthorpe for the game, but I will. I reserve the right to reevaluate my takes on Scunthorpe, depending on the performance that they put up this week.
Fair enough. We have in the Scottish division, are you taking out the cat treat or are you gonna go?
So the cat treat jar
It's
died.
no longer. Okay.
Yeah, the cat's still alive, but the treat jar is gone.
All right.
So I guess I'm gonna have to find some other.
No, you just pick this. You just pick this week. You can do the cat. You can do a box next week.
Yeah, I'll find some other gimmick for the Scottish League moving forward, because again, same as always, no one knows shit when it comes to Scottish football.
Yeah, it's very difficult. We have Aberdeen Roughnecks versus Everclyde Goliaths.
I'm gonna take the Goliaths. Aberdeen were a fucking associate team as of like 2 weeks ago. They've literally just been bumped up to make up numbers. So yeah, I'm gonna take Everclyde.
I'm taking Goliaths as well, because you can't just be a team that just gets thrown back into the lines. Then, but if they
weren't planning to return to proper British football until next season. Yeah.
So it might be a rough one for them this year. Next up, we are finally hitting the Premiership, and in the Premiership South, a 3 p.m. kickoff, which interesting. We have Rushmore Knights back in the Premiership, going against the national champions, London Warriors.
Right. So for this one, this is not a pick'em.
Sorry, I should have laughed.
This one is not a pick'em. This one's an over under.
Oh,
I'm gonna set the line.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay,
over under for points scored by the Warriors. I'm setting the line at 70.
Over 75.
So you're saying over 70?
Yeah, over 70.
Right. I'm gonna say under, but I reckon they come in at around about 63.
Okay, Warrior. How am I gonna write that one up?
So just say Warriors 70, and then for me put Warriors U70.
Yeah.
But obviously we're both picking the Warriors. It's more just for the for our,
for our fun stuff, make it more interesting, because
because it's otherwise
it's inevitable that they're gonna win.
Exactly. Otherwise, there's no point talking about the game. It's like, just move on.
Yeah, that's very true. We don't know. We will find out on Sunday if they have a QB. Well, if they have a QB,
I'm sure they'll have somebody stand under center. I don't know whether it'll be a QB though.
Yeah, if they have a QB after.
What are we like? What's our benchmark for QB? Like someone who can just like hike the ball, like take the hike, or are we
is it going to be Calvin? Is it going to be Calvin this
or
year?
Is it someone who actually can hit like a 5-yard out? Like, what's the yardstick?
Because the QB is a very.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't think it matters whether they have one or not.
That defense is going to run. That defense is going to run all over them. The offense will run all over them.
It's just they could have freaking 35-year-old Tom Brady standing back there at QB.
It's going to be a
it would not matter shit.
No. Next in that division for 2 p.m. kickoff, I will actually be at this game. London Blitz versus Hertfordshire Cheetahs. Now, before you make your pick, I'm going to say something that I got told on the weekend. Apparently, a coach at Cheetahs said it's a good thing that we have a nice tune-up in our first 3 games of the season to play. Bear in mind, Cheetahs play Blitz. They play another team the next week, and then they play Blitz for the 3rd week.
So Joby's just referenced my yardstick of being able to hit a 5-yard out. The amount of guys I have seen stand under center and not hit a 5-yard out, that is 100% the measuring stick. Like, welcome to Brit Ball. The amount of QBs that cannot hit a 5-yard out in stride on a 3-step drop is just stupid. Yeah. So yeah, it's the yardstick. Can you hit a 5-yard out on a 3-step drop?
Well, I guess that'll be the case. But Blitz versus Cheetahs.
I'm taking the Cheetahs.
Oh,
let's go Hertfordshire.
I'm gonna go Blitz on this one because I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what the big
Homer.
Homer. I live in Hertfordshire.
Exactly. Yeah, I played for the Blitz.
I also play for the Olympians, and I hate their ass. So what's the point?
Yeah, everybody has one bad breakup in their life. Everyone's got one ex they hate.
Yeah, we're gonna split this one, but I'm intrigued to see what the new coaching staff at Blitz.
Yeah, I'm definitely wanting to know. Like last year was an anomaly season of sorts for what you'd expect from regular Blitz play.
Yeah.
Like they were down splitting games with Hertfordshire and the Cats. Yeah.
No, the Cats beat them twice.
Oh yes, they didn't even split the games with the Cats. There we go.
They split it, yeah. So I'm intrigued to see what will happen. It's a new era, I guess, is the best way to say it. It's also a new era for Hertfordshire as well, because they got a whole new coaching staff as well. So both teams are. The game is in Finsbury Park. So
the Finsbury car park.
Yes, but the weather's been good, so I guess it will just be hard and dry.
So exactly, it will be what it always is. It will be concrete with green painted grass.
Oh god. But that'll be interesting to see. The next game in that division, so the whole of the Premiership South are playing this week. We have Cambridgeshire Cats versus Bristol Aztecs. I'm taking the Aztecs.
I'm taking the Aztecs too, but I'm not going to be so disrespectful to the Cats to set an over under.
Yeah,
Cats were a good team last year. So
this game last year was the first game for both teams last year as well, and the game ended the game was close up until
I was going to say then.
I think it was the ending of the third quarter. This game was close, and I remember watching it. And
I believe it was like a 7-point game right until the end of the third quarter or something last year. So the Aztecs, because again, like the Warriors, like the Titans, they're essentially sort of a bit of a step above. But I'm not going to be so disrespectful to the Cats to be like, oh, we'll sit over under on this one because the Cats are a good team.
Exactly. Now we're moving up to the Premiership North. We've got East Kilbride Pirates
EKP
versus Coventry Phoenix.
Ah, yes, the newly rebranded Coventry Phoenix, no longer Tamworth.
No, this one could be. I don't know, because last year didn't Coventry lose to EKP the last game of the season?
There was a whole bunch of playoff related shenanigans at the end of last year.
And this game is being played up in Scotland.
Yeah.
Not sure how well Coventry will travel. Not everyone travels well up to Scotland, so it's a 1 p.m. and it's a 1 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah, so EKP travelled into Coventry last year and beat them 36-12. I'm going to take EKP anyway because with the folding of the Edinburgh Wolves, they are the lone beacon for Scottish football.
Yeah.
So like you got to wonder where did there has got to be a lot of stalwart players at the Wolves that are not willing to take a season off,
or they've gone to the other team. They've gone to the other team.
Yeah. Where have they gone? Where have they gone? Like
yeah.
And if I am a Prem level player playing in Scotland, right? And then Edinburgh's just folded for the season. I'm not going to Inverclyde to play against Aberdeen. Like I'm not going to Glasgow to play against associate level teams. I want to keep playing Prem ball. I am a Prem baller.
Yeah.
So where am I going? I'm going to EKP. So
or in the second game in this division, we have the newly promoted Nottingham Caesars versus Newcastle Vikings.
They're not going that far south, man. Do you know how far of a drive it is from Edinburgh?
Is it like
Edinburgh to Newcastle is like a 2.5-hour drive each way.
Some people do it.
Yeah, but the Scots people going south of the border.
Okay, so now this game, Nottingham Caesars versus Newcastle Vikings, the Premiership team that was played in Division 1
versus it's the thing. It's the Newcastle was kind of Nottingham before Nottingham.
Yeah.
This is a hell of a game to start the season with for both of them.
And if I'm correct, hopefully Grant will be watching this and he could let me know. Will this game be streamed at 12 p.m? If it is, then thank you, because I will definitely be paying attention to watch this.
This is a hell of a game to start the season on.
Mm-hmm. For both teams, it's not easy because whoever gets this has the upper hand to obviously make playoffs.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's between these two guys and EKP for who's taken that second playoff spot.
So this is going to be rocky.
I think I'm taking Nottingham.
So am I.
Like, it doesn't feel like it should.
It feels bad, but
this right now, like picking Nottingham to get freshly promoted and jump into second place, it's kind of like it's what Newcastle did last year. Like, exactly. I'm picking Nottingham to do to Newcastle what Newcastle did to the rest of the division last year.
I think I agree, because I just feel that Nottingham are probably the only team that would challenge that. The way that team is set up, the way that team, the structure is insane, and I just feel that Nottingham Caesars, they're not relying on uni players like Newcastle did, unfortunately, last year.
Kyle, I've picked the Warhawks. Micah has gone for Darlow, so we've split that one. We started with Div 2. So yeah, I've picked the Warhawks. Micah's taken the Steam, but I think it'll be a very good game.
It should be a great game, but
lots of points scored.
Yeah, I do feel that that's what's going to happen. I feel like Caesars are they're just primed to take that division over. To be honest, it will be the tough game will be
against the Titans.
Against Titans.
See, if I'm a Titans player, I might be slightly offended by this sort of talk, because this is the same crap that they heard last year with Newcastle.
It's true. It's very true. It's very true. But we
they keep hearing about these little upstarts that are coming up to unseat them, but no one's really done. Like, they got run close a little bit. Like last year, I think there was one game against Newcastle, they got run close.
21-14.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, and then obviously in the playoffs, but
yes,
the Warriors put foot in ass.
Yeah, we won't know what it's going to be like until these two teams play, and I don't think that we will be waiting very long to see Newcastle versus Titans. Well, maybe we actually will be. Jesus Christ!
Titans. Well, we don't. I mean, as it stands. Do you mean Nottingham versus Titans?
Nottingham versus Titans, yes.
This
game actually doesn't happen.
They got EKP, they got June 1st.
It's a very...
What's that, like week 7?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, around, no, more than that.
By that point, though, the division probably would have taken shape, and we'll get a fair idea of
what's going to happen,
how it's looking. So
yeah,
I'm gonna take Nottingham. I'm gonna take Nottingham.
Yeah, cool. That is.
I suppose it depends. Does Durham still have? Does Newcastle still have all their Durham imports?
They will still. That's the problem. They will still probably have them because uni's still going on.
Early. Yeah, that's right. They had them in the year. Yeah. It was end of the year that they all went.
So uni's still going on, and then everyone will disappear and go home, and then.
Well, I don't know, man. With all these rule changes in America, they might not let them back in. You know, immigration's going wild in America at the moment. They're deporting 3-year-old children. So
that's true. That is very true.
Cancel your uni visa.
But ladies and gentlemen, that is week 2 of the rundown predictions done and dusted. We are finishing 13 minutes earlier.
So are we like a 7:30 start time from
like
for this year? Okay.
Yeah. That's what we was last year.
I thought it was 8.
No, it was 7:30 last year.
Little bit of housekeeping, everybody. This is Oz's last ride. The 2025 season. I am calling it quits after this season. I'm just finding it kind of hard to keep caring about Britball when I don't play anymore. Like, I'm not affiliated with the team. There's only, and I can't be affiliated with the team because I think I've offended them all. Like, I've said something bad about every single team in the UK. So people don't want me turning up to their games anymore. But no, this is my last season, and I will not, like, the rundown is Micah this year, featuring Oz, because I will be so infrequent. I'm doing a big work project which is literally taking me to Ireland every second week, and I will be traveling on the Monday, traveling on the Friday, and working during the week. So I will try and make the occasion. Like if I'm back in England, then I will make the show. If I'm in Ireland, depending on what time my flight lands and when I can get to wherever it is. Like if I'm working in Dublin, then I can just go from the airport, get to my hotel, and we'll get some lovely grainy Premiere and quality Wi-Fi. No, you can't, Tibbs. You are contractually obliged. You did a deal with the devil, and Steve owns your soul. I have paid off my indentured servitude. I have worked with Steve for so long that that I have essentially paid off my slavery, and I get to leave at the end of this year. Like I am Jamie Foxx, Steve is Leonardo DiCaprio, and this is Django.
You can't say that.
No, I can say that. I can't say the other part.
But, ladies and gentlemen, this is Oz's last ride. Obviously, we'll have different guests when he can't get on this year. As you saw from last week, we did have Victor. Hopefully, if Oz can't
who's Victor play for?
Victor he's only played for Olympians.
Right.
Yeah. So he's only played for Olympians. But Oz will get us his picks in.
Yeah, I will be better. You'll get them each week, so you can still give me your shit and feel annoyed if I pick against your team. Like I don't care if 6 weeks in and you're 6-0 and you're like, you doubted us. That's fair. Don't fucking chat shit after week one. That's all I'm saying. Don't chat shit after week one. No one knows shit in week one. Half the teams haven't even played yet. Like we haven't had everybody in the league play yet. Just wait before chatting shit.
But, ladies and gentlemen, it is always a pleasure. Thank you for spending the 1 hour and 20 minutes with us talking a load of shit. Obviously, the first half, we were talking about the flag football and everything with Steve. Oz joined us as we were going right into our picks, and it is definitely going to be great. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Micah.
What is that ending? And it's definitely going to be great. What is this, like an after-school children's program?
Hey, I'm workshopping stuff here, man.
Bro, you need to get back in that workshop. That was shit house.
It was shit. That was just off the cuff. I'm not gonna lie. That was definitely.
Yeah, that was bad. Put that back on the cuff. Put that back on the cuff.
I'll have something a bit more interesting next week.
Oh, you better. I will hold you to that.
Fair enough. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm Micah. This is the Pineapple.
Oz.
And this is Oz.
That is the Pineapple Under the Sea. That is SpongeBob SquarePants. And we are out of here.
Catch you later. Peace.